What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Took? Good to see you, man. It looks like nobody's on. That's how it goes. So welcome, everybody who's listening to my voice right now. You probably you can't type anything in the chat. This is a supporter Q&A, and if this is your first supporter Q&A, all of the questions come from Patreon. You know, folks who support the channel on a monthly basis on Patreon, which, what's up, Muddler? Good to see you, man. Which, if you are listening to this right now and you're a patron, and maybe you're listening to this after the fact, you know, but Patreon actually just, I guess, released a new feature. They have a merch feature now on their website, and I was looking at it. I'm gonna sign up for it. It's kind of neat. Like, every tier has a different merch thing that they manufacture and ship. So I don't know how I'm gonna break it down, but it's like $25. It's kind of cool. It's like exclusive merch for patrons that I'll have to look into it, but they have mugs and shirts, and I just think it's kind of a cool idea to maybe give something cool and exclusive. You guys know that I don't really have much time to devote to as much kind of perks and stuff like that on Patreon as I wish I could, but this, I think, would just I don't know, be a cool addition. You know, if you support the channel, $25 a month, you get a coffee mug. You know, it's kind of cool. But we'll see. I'll see how it works out. Don't know anything about it. Literally just read about it 15 minutes ago. But what's up, Grant? But yeah, I'll look into it a little more, and maybe tomorrow start designing some like Patreon exclusive merch, which would be kind of fun. But good to see you, Took, Muddler, and Grant. Hope you guys are doing well. We in the Grant hours now. Hell yeah. 7:47 coming out of the sky, PM. And this is going to be a super low-key supporter Q&A. As I said earlier, if you're listening to my voice, there's a good chance that you are not a supporter. So sit back and listen to my stupid voice. I'll answer some questions that come from Patreon. I'll shoot the shit with whatever fleet members, as I call them, pop up in the chat. But yeah, man, it's always a good time. Always super low-key. Kind of like a little Q&A podcast. And I always get a kick out of it. Always some fun and interesting off-the-wall questions, too. Which, let's get to the first Patreon question, shall we? If my computer would load a simple JPEG. What's going on? There we go. Perfect. I think it's time to build a new rig. I think me and my buddy have the same exact rig. We built our PCs together in 2015. And I kind of followed his lead because he keeps, you know, up to date with hardware and stuff like that. And he's probably going to get a new graphics card in October. And I'm probably going to follow his lead then, too. So we shall see. But, all right, let's go to the first question on Patreon. It comes from our old dear friend, Mr. Paul Robinson. Mr. Paul has been around this channel since, goddamn, its birth, almost. It's always good to see you, man. Paul says, well, I did have a question ready. And then I saw that photo of your sandwich in the Patreon email, and now I am just hungry for an egg and bacon. Sarnie, since COVID... Wait, I can't read this. Let me make it bigger. There we go. Since COVID is putting my career plans on hold, and I'm now training to be a career for vulnerable adults, I'm guessing I won't be coming to Florida this October either at this rate. So my next trip will be for my 50th birthday next June. How the fuck did I get to this to be almost 50? Anywho, I have this plan to spend the day in Galaxy's Edge just hanging out and stuff. So my question, ideal big birthday plans, like your 40th, 50th, etc. Have you ever thought about it? Have any bucket list style ideas bubbling away? I hope you and the family are safe and well. Keep the videos coming, Paul. I appreciate that, Paul. Where does the time go, right? I mean, I'm 34. 50 is going to creep up really quick, right? That's not that long ago. You think 16 years ago, that feels like, I mean, I can put my brain back into like road trips that I took with my buddies 16 years ago, right? It's not that long ago, man. Oh, the world is weird. Time is a son of a bitch, but that sounds like a pretty good birthday plan that you got. I guess you'll have to wait for all the shit to die down and the world to get back to normal, hopefully sooner rather than later. But Yeah, man. So you've asked me about birthday plans. I haven't. The last time, like, I had a big. Well, every year we usually go to the beach or something like that for my birthday. That's kind of my ideal birthday, like hanging out, having some beers, maybe going to a brewery and going to the beach, right? The only birthday that I really did a lot for, in recent memory, was like my 21st birthday, 13 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. I actually went to Epcot and drank around the world, which was a lot of fun. Like, there's, I don't know, 13 countries or something like that there, and they all have their own beer. And I just walked around Epcot with my family all day, just drinking beer. It was a good time. But no, man, I never really go all out for birthdays. We usually do a little bit more for my wife's birthday. We rented a beach house a couple of years ago. Now birthdays are really for my daughter. Like, you know, that's how it goes, which is awesome. Because the older you get, it seems like the less I personally care about my birthday. But so I do have bucket list things, though, not necessarily for birthday, although it would be cool to do them on my birthday. I've always wanted to visit as many national parks as I possibly can. I've been to a ton already, but not nearly as much as I would like to. The biggest one, I think, on my so-called bucket list is going to Denali up in Alaska. It's a national park, and I've always wanted to fly into like Anchorage and then rent an RV and do like a week camping in Denali National Park, do a bunch of hiking. So like in terms of bucket list stuff, that is way high on my list. Yeah, other than that, man, another bucket list thing that I would like to do is when my daughter's old enough to appreciate it, maybe like 13, 14, somewhere in that ballpark.
Have you read up
one
on
sec.
Warlord's Era of Legends? I think you'd like it. Feels very much like the fall of Rome. Massive empire splintering into sections of warlords. Not all of Legends is great, but love the history parallel.
Interesting. Grant, thank you so much for the super chat, channel support, man. I greatly appreciate that. And Tan, good to see ya. Hope you guys are doing well. Grant, give me one sec. So yeah, when my daughter's old enough to kind of appreciate it, I wanted to take her on that road trip that me and my wife did a couple years back. Yeah, which was, we rented an RV, we drove through 6 national parks out west. We went to like Zion, Bryce Canyon, Canyonlands, Arches National Park, the Grand Canyon, and it was just like my all-time favorite trip, and I want to take my daughter out there, you know, get an RV, go on that adventure with her, you know. Other than that, man, you know, birthdays are birthdays. Sometimes we drive up to Atlanta on my birthday and go to a Braves game. We've done that a couple times, but yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Paul. And when things cool off, and if you ever make your way over here, let me know. Maybe we can work something out. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's always good to see you. Grant Guthrie, TPM Productions, and Arcaros. Arcaros, welcome to the fleet, man. If everybody in the chat right now, all the fleet members on right now, could do me a favor and say welcome to the fleet to Arcaros, I would appreciate it. Dude, thank you so much for becoming the latest fleet member. As you can tell, I do supporter Q&As once a month. And you also get a special role in the HelloGreedo Discord server. So maybe you already have your Discord account linked up with your YouTube account, and it should work seamlessly. If you have any issues, contact the mods, we'll work it out. But dude, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. Welcome aboard, shipmate. Just remembered from this account after being a member for over a year on my old unused account. Gotcha, man. Welcome to the fleet, man. Welcome to the fleet once again. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, man. And Darth, what's going on, Darth? Cool, but yeah. Welcome aboard, shipmate. I appreciate that. Grant Guthrie, thank you so much. Have you read up on the Warlords era of Legends? I think you'd like it. Feels very much like the fall of Rome. Massive empire splintering into sections of warlords. Not all Legends is great, but love the history parallel. No, that is definitely, you know, let me look this up. Warlords, Star Wars Legends. Warlord, okay. Maybe there's some specific stories that you could pop in the chat that I'd love to check out. But no, so but that sounds right up my alley. I love that idea. You know, the Empire basically is dissolved, is destroyed. Warlords popping up across the galaxy. Chaos just is running rampant. I love that idea. Now you get a little bit of that vibe in The Mandalorian. To me, they don't really jump into it that deep, but I personally definitely get that vibe. So no, I've never really been I was never a huge Legends reader. I read some of the bigger novels. I read Heir to the Empire when I was like in elementary school. I read Shadows of the Empire. You know, there's a couple I feel like most Star Wars fans, even if they're not like heavy Star Wars readers, they've probably at least checked out, you know? But no, never really learned anything about that era. But that as a concept is something that I absolutely love. And I think like before we knew anything about the sequel trilogy, I thought that was the kind of direction they were going to go, you know? Not kind of recreating the Empire 2.0, maybe creating like multiple factions vying for power. There's a little bit of that between trilogies here and there. Obviously, that's the case, but yeah, man, I love that as a concept. It's definitely, as you said, real world historical parallels, right? When a governing body or when a military or when, you know, a government is dissolved, what happens in the real world? What happens when kind of chaos ensues? When the head of the snake is cut off, what happens in the real world? A power vacuum happens, right? And everybody tries to fight for power. That's kind of how it goes. It only makes sense that it would happen in Star Wars too, right? But yeah, I appreciate that, Grant. I'll check it out sometime. Benjamin B., good to see you. Thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet, Mr. Ben. You were here earlier for the afternoon stream, so welcome to the evening supporter Q&A. But Ben, thank you so much, man. As you can tell, I do monthly Q&As, supporter Q&As. The questions come from Patreon, and yeah, I'm trying to think. The questions that you see in the bottom left corner come from Patreon, and then the supporters shoot the shit in the old chat. And you also get a special role in the Discord server. If you link up your Discord account with your YouTube account, it should work automatically. But dude, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. If everybody could do me a big favor and say welcome to the fleet, Ben, I would greatly appreciate it. But dude, thank you so much, man. Welcome to the fleet. And TPN Productions. Since you've been on YouTube for 9 years, would you consider Star Wars your favorite movie of all time? Yeah, yeah, I would say so, man. TPN. Even before YouTube, Star Wars, the original Star Wars, A New Hope, Episode 4, is probably my all-time favorite movie. Now, if I'm in July, I'm going to say it's Jaws. If we're around July 4th, I'm going to be like, you know what? Jaws is my all-time favorite movie. But all the other months out of the year, I will say Star Wars A New Hope is my all-time favorite movie, for sure. But, hard to believe I've been doing this channel for 9 years, isn't it, TPN? I mean, it's crazy. 9 years ago. 2011. That's nuts, man. I was 25. That's crazy. Gearing up for a new trilogy. I started this channel before Disney ever acquired the franchise, before we were ever going to find out that there were going to be new movies. I started this channel just because it was fun, you know. Still fun. But it was like crazy because the channel existed for like a year before there was any mention, any notion, any news of new movies being made or Disney acquiring the franchise, and then all of a sudden, boom, like, whoa, a lot more Star Wars to talk about, right? It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I appreciate that, TPN. All right, let's get to the next Patreon question. Let me scroll up here on the big old screen. I like this song. It kind of has like 80s. Oh, one sec.
I've been rewatching reviews of the sequels. The Hope Before 7, The Wonder and Flaws and Division of 8, then the flat fan service of 9. It's a joy to get all caught up in the hype.
Interesting. Yeah, Ben. So Ben, first of all, thank you so much for the channel support on multiple fronts this evening and today as a whole. It is interesting. So Ben says, finally joined up. I've been rewatching reviews of the sequels. The Hope Before 7, The Wonder and Flaws and Division of 8, and the flat fan service of 9. It's a joy to get all caught up in the hype. I like it too. And it's very apparent that I like it because I don't just... sometimes I go in the Wayback Machine, or I used to. I don't know if that still exists, but I'll go back in like the Internet Archives and look at old forum posts from the late 90s into the middle 2000s and kind of get caught up in that prequel hype too. It's fun. It's like, yeah, like looking back at the not too distant past and being able to kind of gauge the ebb and flow of trends, of hype, of perceptions, of receptions, of, you know, of the way all these movies were anticipated or let down by certain segments of the fandom, right? Or praised by certain segments of the fandom. And seeing, people talking about these things way after the fact. It's interesting, like looking at it through a time machine, right? It's the same way that, like, if I go back and watch some old trailers from the prequels or from this sequel trilogy, it puts me right back to when I first watched those trailers, right? Like, if I watched the original Force Awakens teaser trailer, when I watch that, it puts me right back to being in London. I was in London when that thing came out, and I was at a very loud bar called The World's End, and I went into the bathroom just to watch the trailer because I couldn't hear shit out in the bar itself. So the first time I ever saw footage of new Star Wars was at the World's End in London in the bathroom. So yeah, man, I love going back in time and kind of seeing how things ebbed and flowed and all that stuff too. But yeah, man. It's been I don't think I watched anybody's review of... I watched Chris Stuckman's review of The Rise of Skywalker. I think, for whatever reason, I usually just... whenever I see a new Star Wars movie, it is very rare for me to watch a review or read any reviews before giving my own opinion. And then even after that, I rarely, if ever, watch a review. I'll have a couple YouTubers and stuff like that I'll check out. Red Letter Media, Chris Stuckman. That's really about it when it comes to reviews of movies that I'm talking about too, you know. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you so much for the support, as I said, on multiple fronts today. And the next question on Patreon, as you can see in the bottom left of your screen, comes from Aman Ver. I'm sure I butchered it, Aman. I apologize. I am an idiot, after all. What would you say is I don't read these beforehand. I can tell this is going to be a little deeper than some questions. And maybe deeper than my mind is capable of right now. But I don't read these before I fire the stream up. So I always go into these things cold. So I apologize, Aman. Aman says, what would you say is the greatest imperative of mankind? Progress, invention, discovery, innovation, etc. Security, harmony in society and nature. Procreation of the self, and by extension your culture. Inter-tribe, societal cooperation, etc. Or something different. Ooh, golly. Man. So if you look at the human species macro scale, right? I would say that the biggest imperative, the greatest imperative, is discovery and innovation. Macro scale. As the population continues to boom globally, we're going to require a lot of innovation to feed, to house, to take care of, humanely, the booming population of Earth that is just going to exponentially grow and grow and grow. Who the hell knows where it goes, right? And also macro level humanity, discovery. Right now we're kind of in a weird transitional period where I think the saying goes like too young to explore the seas, or how does the phrase go? It says something like born too late to explore the seas, born too early to explore the stars, or something like that, right? We're in a weird transition period where we're stuck here. Everything's basically been explored on Earth, right? I mean, there's still a lot of mysteries, but for the most part, I think, the future of mankind is outward among the stars, and that's probably way, way, way in the distant future. Despite me having like rose-colored glasses and and often thinking about these things in science fiction terms, right? But so yeah, I would say discovery and innovation for sure. When we look at the macro human, but for the individual, I think a connection with nature is important. A connection with your community, not necessarily, maybe culture gets thrown into that too, but I wouldn't call it a tribe, but a community, a hodgepodge of various different types of people around the globe is always eye-opening. I think. I always talk about, in the book, and sorry about the mess, I talked about the Navy and how I never really met anybody that was a bigot in the military. I never did. I never heard anybody talk about anybody in like negative terms, in terms of like bigoted language or anything like it. It was incredible. And the reason, I think, is because everybody's literally in the same boat. And everybody is from a different walk of life. That harmony exists because of hardship, because of struggle, because of you don't have time for petty dumb shit when you're out there, So yeah, I don't know. Did any of what I said just now make any sense? Probably not. But Amon, thank you so much, man. I'll go back and listen to what I just rambled on about and just cringe, right? But yeah, man, I appreciate that. What's up, Caleb? Let me scroll up here on the old Patreon tower. Caleb Kemp, thank you so much for the channel support tonight. Not only tonight, but earlier today as well. It looks like you got out of work, so I hope you had a good stress-free day at the old work. But Caleb, sit back, enjoy. You made it earlier than I was expecting. You must have a short commute, but good to see you, man. Kick back. Let's bullshit. But I appreciate that, man. The next question on Patreon comes from Alex Toma. This is kind of a fun one. Alex says, how do you feel, or what do you think about those Pentagon UFO leaks? Is there more intelligent life forms, and are they worth simping for? So, broad picture here, Alex, broad picture. There is no question in my mind that in the infinite universe, now let's just talk about the observable universe, right? Hundreds of billions of galaxies. Hundreds of billions of galaxies. The Milky Way galaxy has, 400 billion stars? 400 billion stars in our galaxy. That's crazy. The Andromeda galaxy, the closest galaxy to our galaxy, has 1 trillion stars. And there's 100 billion plus, a lot more probably, in the observable universe. So to think that we are it, this is it, everything stops here, I think is a real failure of imagination, and just maybe it's more wishful thinking on certain people's parts. But yeah, there's no question in my mind that in the vastness of the universe, that there's intelligent life elsewhere. Thinking, yeah, it's weird. So, but with the Pentagon leaks, and I haven't really looked that deep into it. You know, I am an uber skeptic. I'm optimistic, but I am an uber skeptic when it comes to that kind of stuff. UFO sightings or the Pentagon or even pilots and stuff like that seeing things. I've seen the pillbox, like the Tic Tac shaped UFO. The reason that I have to be uber skeptical. The reason that I have to be uber skeptical, Alex, is because I want to believe so bad, right? So when I want something to be true, when I want something to be real, I have to force myself to be even more skeptical about everything, right? So, yeah, with a lot of UFO sightings or whatnot, there's oftentimes earthly explanations, and I always think, like, who never kind of has UFO sightings? Like astronomers. You really don't hear about astronomers talking about UFO sightings. Why? Because most of the time they really know what they're looking at, right? But the video's not working. Can you guys hear me? At least? Can you guys see the video? Did it glitch out for a second? Oh, weird. Okay. It's working. What's up, Jake? Mr. Jason? Yeah, hopefully it's working. I can see the vid. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. But yeah, Alex, want it to be real, have to be skeptical. But yeah. Are they worth simping for? I'm a grandpa. I don't know what simping. Foolishly over catering to the exaggerated emotions of women can also mean a man being in his feelings and allowing women to take over his mind. Simping for. I've never looked that up. I've seen it on Twitter. Never, but I think it is the ultimate question. There's a few questions. What happens when you die? Nobody knows, right? And people tell you that they know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And is there intelligent life elsewhere? Nobody knows, but I would say yes. And that is a big question. And, if we ever have contact, if we ever do encounter intelligent life, I think that will kind of reconstruct our calendar. I think that we will no longer go, AD, BC. I think humanity will have before contact and after contact. I think that's how the history books thousands of years from now would be written, right? Because what a monumental shift in the way we think about ourselves and our place in the universe, right? But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Alex. What's up, JJ? Good to see you, man. Let me scroll up here on the old Patreon tower. There we go. I was saying earlier, guys, maybe some of you guys are also patrons, and maybe this is for anybody who is listening right now and is a patron and can't type in the chat. I wish I could connect the two systems, but on Patreon, they just introduced a merch section. So they literally manufacture and ship merch based on what tier you are a part of. And I guess they have coffee mugs and t-shirts and stuff like that. I'm going to look into it. I'm probably going to sign up for it because, yeah, it's just kind of a cool perk, right? $25 supporting the channel, You get a cool exclusive HelloGreedo Patreon coffee mug. You know, something fun. I want one too. So anyway, cool. All right, let's scroll. Oh, we got it. The next question on the old Patreon comes from Mr. Nolan Balcom. Nolan says, "Hi Greedo, I'm a big fan of the silent film Metropolis, and I was wondering if you had seen it and what you thought about it. It laid the foundation for a lot of sci-fi." Yeah, it's a German, right? Yeah, I've seen it, but it was like, is it German? Yeah, German. Okay. I saw it, but it was, I'm gonna say, it was definitely in a film class, and I'm trying to think if it was. No, it was okay. So it was in 2011 or at the beginning of 2012, right after I got out of the military. I started taking college classes, and as an elective, I just threw a film class in there. I had never seen Metropolis before that, and I haven't seen it since. I vaguely remember it. I definitely remember some of the things that you've probably seen in documentaries and stuff like that, but I don't really remember enough. I mean, it's always fun to go, but when was this? 1927. It's always fun to go back and look at the early films. The one that, what is it called? The Flight to the Moon? What is it called? Journey to the Moon? To the Moon? Is that what it's called? What is it called? Journey to the Moon movie, 1902. Is that what, 1902? Is that what it's called? A Trip to the Moon. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen A Trip to the Moon, it's like 13 minutes long. And you can just see, I love, Subterrell Prospector, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet, man. Give me one sec. So yeah, like, I always love going back and looking at some of those older movies and seeing how they did things. They had to get very inventive with shots and perspective, and a lot of like rear screen projection. And yeah, they just had to get really inventive. And sometimes you find out about ways that they shot these movies or made it come to life on screen, and it's like so clever that you would, like, despite all of the technological advancement of today, you would never think to do it like that back then. Does that make sense? But yeah, anyway, I have seen it. It's been a very long time. Yeah, C-3PO, right? C-3PO for sure. But I wouldn't mind watching it again. Like I said, it's been about 10 years or so. So, anyway, I appreciate it. Subterrell, thank you once again for becoming the latest member of the fleet. Renewed. But dude, you know the drill. But I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. I don't know if you're on the Discord server, but you can sign up for that too. But welcome aboard once again, shipmate, Chief Subterrell Prospector.
Put out a video today arguing why now is the time for KOTOR 3. It's good to see the series getting love and hype even still 15 years on. Worth a watch. Such a rich world with so daring stories.
Benjamin B, my KOTOR man. Benjamin B, thank you so much for the channel support once again. Let me turn off this other microphone. There we go. Sorry, I had my other microphone on. I didn't have like an echo, right? I believe I had both microphones on. Maybe only one is selected. Anyway, Benjamin B, thank you so much once again. Ben says, IGN just put out a video today arguing why now is the time for KOTOR 3. It's good to see the series getting love and hype, even still 15 years on. Worth a watch, such a rich world with so daring stories. Yeah, well, first of all, I would need to play KOTOR 2, right? But secondly, I don't know if specifically KOTOR is what I personally would want. Now, everybody who's ever played KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2 throughout and loved those games as you do, there's no question in my mind you guys would rather have a KOTOR 3 than a random, new title that isn't associated with those games whatsoever, like an RP, like a brand new RPG, right? You would rather have a KOTOR 3. For me, Yeah, I mean, give me either. Why not? I mean, dude, whenever somebody asks me what type of Star Wars game I want, Ben, I always respond with like an open world RPG, like a Red Dead Redemption, like a Fallout, you know, like a Skyrim style Star Wars game. And it seems like such a no-brainer. Despite how much I love Jedi Fallen Order, great game, I still want that large scale RPG with consequences where your actions, you know, dictate what happens in the world. Chart your own path. I want that. So I'll definitely check that out. Let me look this up. KOTOR 3. Why it should happen now. KOTOR 3, why it should happen now. Nice. Welcome to Star Wars Week. All right. I'll check this out for sure. This might be what... Oh, there's an article too. This might be... Oh, it's better to watch the video. The article is very short. Yeah. So. Yeah, I hope, you know, we're getting squadrons. Looks fun. But I hope there is plans for like a super large scale Star Wars RPG. I just think, you know, Star Wars is such a living, breathing world with so many possibilities, and everybody, you know, you don't just want to play a Star Wars game, you want to live in the Star Wars universe. And having a modern Star Wars RPG open world that, you know, allows you to chart your own path in this vast galaxy just seems like an absolute no-brainer. And whether it be KOTOR 3 or a brand new title, I definitely hope it eventually happens, you know. I think it will eventually, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway. Oh, what's up, Stuart? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Alex and Molly are streaming? Nice. Tell them I said hello. Nice people. The next question comes from Matthew Rodriguez. Oh, a couple alien questions tonight. Matthew says, would you think if aliens visited Earth, would they have intentions to conquer the planet, or would they be peaceful and all they would want is to be interested in studying us? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You know, I always go like default to peaceful, intelligent aliens, you know, just because I think that, you know, with the vastness of the universe, the vastness of space, how long it takes to get anywhere. I always kind of think that if intelligent life has the capability to get here, they've got their shit together, and they wouldn't need us. They wouldn't need our resources. That if they have the capability to basically fold space and come here, or travel at, you know, faster than light speed to get here in whatever, you know, in a capability that is beyond anyone's imagination, I just feel like it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be they're revealing themselves wouldn't be for hostile intent, you know. Could be wrong, you know. There's a lot of science fiction that would say otherwise, but it's just that fiction, right? I would like to think that, yeah, like I said, if a civilization, if an intelligent race of extraterrestrials were able to get here, they probably have their shit together, and they probably don't need anything we have, right? That makes sense. I mean, just think about it. Like I said earlier, right? Hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions or trillions of stars, and an incalculable amount of worlds. What do they need? Minerals? Dude, you can mine endless asteroids, planets that have no inhabitation. That you could just you could, you know, Dyson sphere a star. You could do anything. Why would you need to come to Earth? What do we have that's so special? I mean, everything that's on Earth can be other than humans and the life that has evolved, or the life that has evolved here because of the conditions here, what would you need? I mean, you can find oxygen, you can find all the elements elsewhere among the stars. Why would you need to come here? Unless you just want to snatch us up and put us in like an ant farm. But yeah. Anyway, I would like to think that any advanced spacefaring civilization wouldn't. Maybe we think they would be hostile just because of our own history. Whenever cultures or civilizations float across the pond and arrive at a new world or discover new old inhabitants, indigenous inhabitants of a newly discovered section of the globe, usually it turns into bloodshed. Maybe we're kind of projecting our own history onto what we would think would happen if it happened to us, But you never know. You never know. All we can do is cross our fingers, right? But yeah, fun question. Time to code a new Star Wars game in Unity. Oh, nice. No, JJ, obviously it's all speculation, but I would say no. As much as I would like to believe it, I'm super skeptical, But yeah. GTA 5. Oh yeah, Darth. Me and my buddy were talking about that the other day. Like GTA 5. I've never played the online GTA stuff. Actually just bought it on Steam a couple weeks ago. And I still haven't tried the online capabilities. I want to. But that's what my buddy said. He was like, they are just making so much money on GTA Online. It's crazy. Yeah, I need to, man. I need to play it. I haven't even installed it yet. I just got it because it was on sale. Maybe it was like a month ago. Got it because it was on sale, and I wanted to try it out at some point when my buddies wanted to play it too. But yeah, anyway. The next question on Patreon comes from the Movie Critic Dude. Movie Critic Dude has been here, has been a HelloGreedo viewer for a very long time. Hope you're doing well, man. The Movie Critic Dude says, hey, HG, long time no see. Been pretty busy with everything that's going on. Had a great month vacation in Puerto Rico. Doing good. My long-awaited question is, have you heard all of the recent planned Star Wars series that'll be coming to Disney Plus in the near future, such as a Darth Maul series in which they'll do that given... how will they do that given what happened to Ray Park if they decide to recast him with Sam Witwer instead? Is that confirmed, Movie Critic Dude? Okay, so... I'm looking this up. So, my thing, Movie Critic Dude, the only website that I see other than YouTubers reporting on this is a website called We Got This Covered. It looks like it started there. I'm not too sure. So I'm really skeptical about any news, especially from them. I mean, holy fucking shit. That website is just, they have no journalistic integrity. Anything like any YouTuber or Redditor or person on Twitter says, they report on. It is crazy. Their batting average is so low. So as much as I think it would be cool to get a series like that, a Darth Maul series, I'm very skeptical unless it's been officially announced, or announced by reputable sources, which I certainly would not consider these reputable sources. I'll reserve my my hype until then. But I don't know, man. I didn't really... where did it go? There we go. I didn't really follow much of the Ray Park thing. I think we talked about it a couple streams ago. I still don't know the story behind it. I remember waking up the morning that it happened, that it was blown up on Twitter, scrolling through a couple things and just going like, I'll stay out of this one. And I don't know if it I honestly still don't know if it was an accident, if it was a vengeful thing, if what the story was. I didn't go down like the National Enquirer rabbit hole. I didn't watch any YouTubers talking about it. And then like it disappeared the next day. I haven't seen anybody talking about it since. So, yeah, that was my reaction too, Stuart. Like, ugh, and then just hands off. I didn't really look into it any deeper. But yeah, movie critic dude, I would be super skeptical of that quote unquote news. But yeah, and in terms of like a series that I would want, Darth Maul, nothing against Darth Maul, but it's not necessarily a series that I would want, And that's just because we've had Darth Maul stuff before, right? Darth Maul has been present in a lot of Star Wars material. Same thing with like people wanting a Darth Vader movie. Why? We have had Darth Vader in a lot of Star Wars material too. So if they're going to do more series, I would love, we have Kenobi coming out, Cassian Andor. I want them to continue making shows, or start making more shows with characters that we've never even heard of, So anyway, hope you're doing well, man. Hope your trip was good. Had a great month vacation in Puerto Rico. Nice. Family down there? I'm assuming. Maybe. Anyway, let's scroll up here. I don't know what to believe. Yeah, I've said that I'm a broken record at this point, Stuart, but been in this YouTube game for 9 years, this Star Wars YouTube game for 9 years. I've seen literally countless rumors come and go. The vast majority, 99% of them, fizzle out to nothing. So when I see stuff like that posted, I always look at it with a huge skeptical eye. What's really interesting is that, 5 years ago, it was different websites that were throwing a bunch of bullshit on the wall and seeing what was sticking, Now it's different websites and YouTubers and articles and whatnot. Just writing whatever. I don't know. Yeah, the Hollywood Reporter always has a good track record, right? Yeah, that's one that usually has a good track record with reporting on stuff. But, so, anyway. And the next question comes from Patreon, of course. And it comes from Jack. Hey, Greedo, hope you and the family are doing well. The pandemic has me baking and cooking a lot more to keep myself occupied. Got a favorite piece of comfort food or dessert? Keep up the great work as always. So, yeah, comfort food. Man, that's tough. I love chicken wings. Like, give me 15, 20 chicken wings with like some spicy ass sauce. I will destroy them. I would say that's probably my ultimate comfort food. If I had a comfort food, it would probably be chicken wings. Like, I go to the grocery store and buy just from the Publix deli. Publix is a grocery store. I'll just buy a giant bag of hot and spicy chicken wings and destroy them, which I did on last Friday. That's what we did. But other than that, man, I like making burgers, but I'm usually, even through the pandemic and through kind of quarantine and when things were shut down, never really indulged that much. I'm usually pretty good about keeping it under control. Unless it's the weekend. That's when I just go crazy. I like buy butter pecan ice cream and it's gone in a day. So yeah, if we're talking like comfort food, chicken wings, that's where it's at for me. And dessert, just a simple bowl of ice cream. Nothing crazy. But yeah, anyway. We haven't really been We actually, the past couple weeks, we've made our own pizza and pizza dough, which is kind of fun. We get yeast and we make our own dough and whatnot, and it usually turns out pretty good. We did that tonight, actually. But yeah. Anyway, Jack, I tend to not buy any junk. I just, if it's in the house, I will eat it. So I restrict myself when I go to the grocery store. I just get some chicken breast. I get some veggies. I stay out of the middle of the store because that's where all the bullshit is. And I resist as much as I possibly can because I could blow up. The heaviest I've ever been in my life was like 245. I'm 188 right now. Going off the rails can be easy for me. It has been easy for me like 10 years ago. It was super easy for me. But can't let that happen again. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Luke Cotton, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. Oh, double here. Let me take a quick sip of the old water. Ooh, we got a heavy one, Luke. We got a heavy one here. Let me close out some of these things and open up Streamlab again. And wait for that notification to pop up. There we go. Notification. All right. Luke Cotton. Thank you so much for the dual super chats there, man. I greatly appreciate that. Luke says, on the first one, he says, you getting the PS5? Probably, man, I'm going to say no right now. That could change in a couple of years, you know? I was a late adopter of the Xbox One. I bought an Xbox One S like 2.5 years ago, you know. And the only reason I really bought that was because I bought a 4K TV and I wanted to play some 4K Blu-rays, you know. And I was in the mood to play some games too. So maybe a couple years from now, I'll end up getting the PS5. But I really don't have any console games that I'm really like dying to play. Before I end up getting another console, I'm definitely going to invest in some better PC hardware. That's where my mind's made up right now. Like, I'm gearing up to get a 34-inch ultra-wide 1440p 1 millisecond 144 hertz curved monitor. That's what I'm looking at right now. That's kind of my next step. So I want to get that before I get a console, right? And in October, I'm planning on getting a new graphics card. So, you know, that's kind of what that's my priority list when it comes to gaming and hardware and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, I'll never say never. You know, maybe 4 or 5 years from now, I'll end up getting it. You never know. And Luke Cotton also asks a heavy one here. Let me scroll up and get ready for the Patreon question. I think we got 2 more over there. Cool. All right. Luke also asks, weird question. Do you believe in an afterlife? Man, you know, I obviously no one knows, right? No one knows. I don't know. The people who profess that they know for certain, they don't know. I would like to think so. I think everybody would like to think so. But I think I lean more towards no, to tell you the truth. It's not because of any reason. It's just I don't know why. And maybe that like brings people down a little bit, but it doesn't bring me down. I think, you know, you got this one shot on this beautiful blue marble. Make the most of it. Do what you want to do. Don't fucking waste it, you know? And there's incentive there to make this thing count, right? But I'm a pretty big skeptic when it comes to all that kind of stuff, you know. Everybody has their own myth. Every culture has its own myth. Every culture has its own belief system. And I'm pretty skeptical about all of that, you know. Of course, I would like there to be. You know, I would love nothing more than lights go out where I'm in the mountains with my family, right? In a cabin, and eternity is nothing but like hanging out in the mountains with my family, drinking some beers and making and laughing, right? But that's probably wishful thinking. And hey, you know, if your belief system or who cares what I say? If your belief system gears you to thinking that there is or something far more specific, then hey, who cares, right? You know, whatever makes you happy, whatever helps you sleep at night. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, man. It's not a weird question at all. It's like the ultimate question. What are you talking about, Luke? You should have said ultimate question. Do you believe in an afterlife? But, you know, I also look at, you know, the history of humanity, things living and dying. Horrible shit happens to young people all the time. You know, it's a world of chaos. It's a world of until recent modern conveniences in medicine, Jesus Christ, humanity was just like a big ball of suffering for thousands of years, right? But anyway, I appreciate it, Luke. The next question on Patreon comes from Natasha Romanoff. Natasha says, hello. Who would you say is your favorite character from each film? Oh, each film. Interesting. Bonus if you also include your favorites from Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. So I can answer the Clone Wars one. The Clone Wars, my favorite character in all of the Clone Wars is Ahsoka. I think she is... I think she has the best arc in that entire show. You know, she starts off as a scrappy kid, young, maybe a little immature, and by the end of that show, she is a steadfast leader. And I just loved watching her progress and grow up and evolve as a character and as a tactician, you know. But from each film, that's kind of tough. So blanket statement right away, I can say in the prequels, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's just probably because Ewan McGregor, you know, elevated it and it worked well. I think he's my favorite character in the prequel films. I don't need to individualize each film in the prequels for that. When it comes to when it comes to the original trilogy, if I look at just the individual films, all right, I'm going to say my favorite character in A New Hope is Han Solo. You know, the cocksure smuggler, the pirate with the heart of gold. So he would be my favorite character in A New Hope. My favorite character in probably The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, though, is Luke. Yeah, I love Luke in both of those movies. Yeah, and then the sequel trilogy. Man, the sequel trilogy is a little tougher for me because so for The Force Awakens, I think Rey was my favorite character in The Force Awakens. She, you know, had an innocence to her. She had kind of a I think she was my favorite character in The Force Awakens. In The Last Jedi, it's a toss-up, man. It's The Last Jedi is really difficult for me in terms of what character was my favorite because I, despite a lot of people disagreeing with me, I loved Luke's portrayal in The Last Jedi. And Jesus, Mark Hamill knocked it out of the park, right? But then at the same time, Rey and Kylo. their connection was one of the most interesting things in the entire saga to me. I loved it. I loved it through and through. So it's kind of a trio there for my favorite characters in that movie. And for the Rise of Skywalker, yeah, Rey and Kylo again, Rey and Ben. It's kind of like I can't really pick. I think they are stronger when they're communicating. It's really interesting, and it's, they're better together than they are on their own. But I don't really have a favorite character, Natasha, in the Rebels. I haven't finished Rebels. I only watched the first season. And when it comes to The Mandalorian, my favorite character, I don't know. The Mandalorian. I liked Grief. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate that. Fun question. I'm sure I'll have different answers next time you ask me. But yeah. Anyway. But, yeah. Favorite character in the sequel trilogy is Babu Frick. Guy who appears in 5 minutes. But, anyway. And the next and final question on Patreon comes from our old friend, Caleb Kemp. Let me scroll up here. Caleb Kemp says, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Did you happen to check out the videos previewing Metallica's S&M 2 concert? And if so, what did you think? I'm looking at my browser right now, and I still have it in the top left corner. As I look at things, I close them out. It is in the top left corner. It's been sitting there since the last time. Was that last night or was that yesterday when you brought it up to me? I think it was yesterday. I have not watched it. It is still up on my browser. So, I will absolutely check that out. Just because, hell yeah, we had a long discussion about the Metallica S&M 1999. I think we looked it up. It came out in 1999. I had that VHS. I used to play that shit all the time. All the time. But yeah. Caleb also says, let me scroll up here so you guys can see it as well. Boom. There we go. Caleb says, on another note, it's funny that a lot of the talk on your channel has been about 4K 77 because I recently watched it with my family. My dad was impressed by how good it looked. I recently discovered that the guys at Team Negative 1 have recently made new projects called D+ versions of the OT. D+ 77 for A New Hope, D+ 80 for Empire Strikes Back. As the titles may suggest, they're reconstructions of the theatrical cuts of the OT using the Disney Plus 4K versions of the films as a base, with footage from their own 4K projects spliced in where scenes are changed. I recently watched D+ 80 since 4K 80 isn't finished yet, and it's the next best thing. Looks amazing. Think you'll check it out. Anyway, apologies for the rambling question. I hope you're doing well, and may the force be. I did not know that was a thing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. So maybe some of you guys listening to my voice right now, no idea what Caleb's talking about. Watch my most recent video. I talk about 4K 77 and stuff like that. That only makes sense, Caleb. They're kind of they're reconstructing the theatrical version using the most modern release, official release, right? It's kind of from just reading what you just said. It kind of just sounds exactly like what Harmy did with the despecialized editions, right? Working with the 2011 Blu-ray and kind of reverse engineering them to make them look like the theatrical cuts. So no, that is something. All right, so I got Metallica S&M 2, and I'm going to right next. I'm going to open up a new tab, and D+ Team Negative 1. That's so cool, man. All right, I'm gonna look into this. I have it in my browser on Google, and I will do a little investigating and check that out. But man, if they did, they worked on that quick. If they already got that out, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, Caleb. I love all these fan restorations, these fan, whatever you want to call them. Too cool. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. Oh, Bearded Emperor, thank you so much, man. I did not hear the notification there. Or maybe it hasn't played yet. Bearded Emperor, thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support before I close out the supporter Q&A. Bearded Emperor says, "What's up, Greedo? I just turned 18. Well, congratulations and happy birthday, man. Finally in adulthood, which scares me. I already feel old. No, you're young, man. Oh, you're super young. Super young. Any advice on the world of adulthood? Cheers, man." Man, so... explore. You're 18. You're 18. Don't be in any rush. Other people are going to give you other advice. The complete opposite of my advice, all right? Maybe you should follow that. I don't know. I'm just bullshitting, right? Explore. You're 18. Have some fun. Go on some road trips before you jump into anything. Don't be in any rush. But at the same time, like, I feel like I wasted a lot of time, especially when I got out of the Navy. I should have buckled down and got done with school. What I should have done right after I graduated high school in 2004, I should have taken a year off or 2 years off and done nothing instead of trying college, because I just was not in there. I did not have the commitment, the level of commitment. I didn't have the maturity to finish. Maybe you do. I wish I would have taken a little bit of time off to figure out what I wanted to do, right? But yeah, I would say, get with your buddies and go explore. Go on road trips. Travel as much as you possibly can before everything, before you jump into anything. Or don't. But yeah, once you start, like, let's say college or a career, or once you decide what you want to do, completely, wholeheartedly focus on that until completion. There's going to be a lot of distractions. You're not going to feel like doing what you need to do sometimes. But before you know it, man, if you don't do those things, you're going to be 34 and you're going to look back and you're going to wish that you would have just buckled down and got your shit done, right? So I think that's probably how a lot of people feel. I look at myself, like I just said, 34 years old. I'm talking about myself here. Like, I wish I would have buckled down and finished school. I have an AA degree. That's all I got, right? I wish I would have buckled down, followed what I actually was interested in, and knocked it out when I was your age, But that's all in hindsight. That's, learning experience. Some people aren't there yet, right? So, yeah, I would recommend when you figure out what you want to do, and look, man, you're 18. You don't need to figure it out right now. You got time. But when you figure out what you want to do, put all of your effort into getting there. The more you time moves fast, man. The more you lollygag, before you know it, some of the opportunities might have passed you by, and you'll look back and go, man, I wish I would have just knocked it out, right? But that's probably the best advice that I can give you. Or don't listen to me. But man, happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's exciting stuff. You just turned 18. Yeah, I turned 18 in 2004. Feels like a long time ago now. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Bearded. And once again, happy birthday, man. And Scruffy Nerf Herder, thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. Scruffy says, "Hey HG, what are your hopes and dreams for a Jedi Fallen Order sequel? Also, I'm with you on a new RPG style game, or KOTOR 3 would be great too." So if we're gonna get a Jedi Fallen Order sequel, I think, has that been confirmed? I don't know if it has or not. But if we are, Scruffy, what I would love, ideally, is if Jedi: Fallen Order is the, Oh, one sec. I thought, maybe there's a cat at the door. I thought somebody was opening the door. If Jedi: Fallen Order is going to be the title, is going to be how the future titles are set up, like Jedi: something, I would love for the next installment and future installments. Maybe there's a third game, Jedi game, I would love for them to focus on an entirely new cast of characters. Maybe that, shit that's happening around the same exact time as Cal Kestis in that game, but focus on a different character, right? I think it would be fun to have the Jedi Fallen Order, the Jedi game franchise, be made up of a lot of different stories from a lot of different characters, and every game focus on a new character. That's like ideal for me, because I think there's a lot of stories to explore there. I thought Cal Kestis had a solid conclusion to his story. I liked where the characters ended up. It had a solid ending to that game, and I personally don't need a direct sequel of Cal Kestis in a new game. I would love for a new game to be, about an entirely new group, a new guy, new girl, new character, be great. But yeah, before that, I really want an open world Star Wars RPG. So, give me another game like Fallen Order. Hell, same mechanics, same everything. I love the combat in that game. The story was great. But give me an entirely new look at a new character, a new story, new backstory. I think it'd be fun to do it that way. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I appreciate that, Scruffy. And Bearded Emperor coming in with a final super chat. I would respond to everyone but not a member, LOL. I got you, man. No worries. No worries. But yeah, man. Take some time. Hang out with your friends. Do some traveling. If you can. And, because, yeah, if I have fond memories of going on road trips with my buddies at your age, from Florida to New York with really no plan. Some of the best times of my life that I'm still best friends with all the group of guys that I'm talking about. We still rent cabins every year and hang out. And, it's a yearly tradition now since we were 18 years old. And, make some memories, And then when you figure out what you want to do, buckle down. Knock it out. Hell yeah. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging out with me for this August 2020 supporter Q&A. These are always fun, low-key, good time. But, so yeah, tomorrow is Friday. I'll probably end up doing an afternoon stream if you guys are around. I might end up playing Battlefront on a live stream. We'll see, or maybe some Shadows of the Empire. Don't really know. But, all right, guys. To everybody who supports the channel, can't tell you thanks enough. The channel survives because of you guys. And yeah, I cannot say thank you enough. To anybody that's listening that's a Patreon member, Patreon actually just created a merch section on their website for every tier of support. There's different merch options, mugs and t-shirts and stuff like that. I have not signed up for that yet, but I'm planning on it. So I don't know how it really works, but it looks like, if you support the channel $25 a month, then you get sent an exclusive, poster or coffee mug. I'm gonna have to look into it, but it's a cool feature. And I think, I don't really have that much time to give back, unfortunately, as much as I would like to. This is a good, I view this as kind of a good way to give back to people who support the channel, So, anyway, I appreciate it, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. Stuart, Scruffy, Mr. Emperor, Mr. Darth, everybody who has tuned in through the stream, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Trying to get some videos out for the weekend. I'll do some streams this weekend as well. You guys know me, I don't plan anything. Probably to a fault. But all right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your evening, your afternoon, wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Thanks, shipmates. I appreciate it, guys. See ya.